take something from a part of my life that was so intense to make it part of my life that one of the happiest moments of my life.
I think it's just really nice for him to have something as special as that.
I've been in business for almost 40 years and never had to do anything like this.
A refreshing spiritual experience. So these are going to have an emotional effect on people coming through.
Come across so many elderly people on fixed incomes that can't afford to pay anyone to mow the lawn. So when I can come in for free, they can now use those funds for medication, food, and other things they really need.
Great program. Something to give our young people something to feel good about themselves.
From 3 News Now and the Omaha World-Herald, this is Omaha Sunday Morning with Jennifer Griswold.
Good morning and thanks for joining us this Sunday. I'm Jennifer Griswold. A silent, non-denominational retreat in Nebraska has been a vision of Joe Ricketts for decades. The brainchild behind TD Ameritrade and the father of Governor Pete Ricketts wanted a religious experience like no other. The Cloisters on the Platte is finally complete. 3 News Now morning anchor Emily Zink talks with Ricketts about his new retreat near the river.
A close to 1,000-acre plot of land in Sarpy County off of I-80.
It was an idea that just sort of evolved.
Has transformed into a religious experience unlike any other.
I've been planning this for about 30 years and dreaming about it.
TD Ameritrade founder Joe Ricketts wants to leave behind a legacy built to last centuries.
This is a gift from me to the community.
A sprawling religious retreat known as the Cloisters on the Platte is complete. A chapel, 7 guest lodges and main building are just some of the breathtaking amenities.
It's had an enormous economic impact, as any construction of this type of facility would have.
But this devout Catholic says this isn't about building a business, and the final price tag isn't being disclosed.
I think that they're going to enjoy themselves. I think that they will find a refreshing spiritual experience.
There is no cost to attend the Thursday through Monday overnight retreats, but there is the option of donating. Upkeep costs will also be paid for through a recommended $10 donation to take the audio-guided Stations of the Cross tour, available to everyone, not just sleepover guests Monday through Thursday.
Take my hand and walk with me on the way of the cross.
The length of this Station of the Cross is the same length that Christ carried the cross.
Jesus is condemned to die.
Along the 2,500-foot trail are 14 bronze life-size stations. Multiple award-winning sculptors spent years constructing.
So these are going to have an emotional effect on people coming through.
A marriage of what man can create and what the Maker created. All of it part of Ricketts' vision to guide visitors to something bigger.
That would be unlike anything that they would ever experience in their life. No place else do you have this.
It does look beautiful. The first retreat will be held on July 19th. The Stations of the Cross will be open to the public on July 23rd. A parking lot is located off Fishery Road. A shuttle will then take people inside. They called it the Dream Playground, but for many in Council Bluffs, it's been a dream deferred. That's about to change as a community effort is giving an old playground a facelift. Lake Manawa State Park's Dream Playground is now getting that facelift. The new design is inspired by 1,700 drawings by Council Bluffs elementary school students. It's 100% community-based, community-funded, and community-built.
We will not turn anybody away. We need as many people as we can get, honestly. It is when people come down here, they're gonna actually be able to get a grasp of the magnitude of what we're building.
You can still help. Work has been going on all weekend and volunteers will be back at the park today at 8 a.m. A man from Alabama has a different type of bucket list. He's on a mission to mow lawns in all 50 states. Rodney Smith Jr. was in Omaha with a message about giving back to others, even to people you don't know. 3 News Now reporter Jake Kowski was there.
The morning dew glistens in the sun. The smell of fresh cut grass in the air. Ronnie Smith Jr. experiences it almost every day since the start of May in a new state. 50 lawns, 50 states. Smith cuts the grass for elderly, single moms, the disabled, and veterans to teach kids about lawnmower safety and show them how a little kindness can go a long way.
Mowing a lawn isn't a big deal, but for some people, it's a really hard task, especially when they can't afford it. I've come across so many elderly people on fixed incomes that can't afford to pay anyone to mow the lawn. So when I can come mow for free, they can now use those funds for medication, food, and other things they really need.
Nebraska is his 45th state this tour. He's documented it all on Twitter and also asked people to help find someone in need. Omaha, a little more special.
40 pounds. 40 pounds?
50 pounds.
Man.
For the first time, 2 police officers decided to pitch in.
Anything we can kind of let the public know that we're out here, trying to help people and make a difference in the community that we work in. It's just, anything we can do to help is great.
The homeowner, 76-year-old Jean Funkhauser, says it's been difficult to keep the lawn up. She says she's a Gold Star wife. Her husband died in 2008 after getting sick in the Gulf War. She's grateful for what Smith is doing and the example he's setting for young people.
Yeah, but I really was surprised with him, and I think it's a really great program. Something to give our young people something to feel good about themselves.
Woo. All right.
He is such an inspiration. As part of the tour, Smith is challenging kids in every community he stops in to mow yards in their area. If they reach 50 yards, he visits them and delivers a brand new lawnmower. This weekend, he headed to Alaska, and then it's on to Hawaii to finish his goal. Visitors at one area vacation hotspot will get to enjoy a whole new camping experience. How a little more glamour is being added to the mix when Omaha Sunday Morning continues. There's a new attraction at the Platte River State Park. This weekend, visitors can try their hand at glamping. It's fancy-style living while on the campgrounds. 3 News Now reporter Andrea Braswell gives you a first-hand look.
It's your first look at the Platte River State Park's newest attraction.
You got a beautiful deck. You have great awnings that you can open them up.
It's the new It Thing, happening all over the country.
Full refrigerator and freezer.
It's a glamorous getaway right in the middle of the woods.
They're awesome. They're really beautiful.
Parks Division Administrator Jim Swinson says everyone wants in on it.
Exciting stuff with our Venture Park program. The glamping cabin is a unique feature to our state park system, and it's a trending activity across the nation right now.
These are not your typical cabins.
This is a mix of indoor-outdoor. The bed will roll out onto the deck if you want to sleep outdoors. So these 3 cabins will be very unique to our park system.
An intimate setting for 2.
Just pack your bags and you're set here.
Carrie and Danny Flynn are from Maryland and say they'd love glamping here.
For like a married couple to have a getaway night, just away from everybody and be able to kind of treat yourself but still be out in nature and be able to experience some true peace and quiet.
The Flynns say it's even more appealing than a hotel.
Just everything, all the little details are beautiful, but it's set in nature.
And it's the upscale living in the woods that makes it so attractive.
You can hear the bird sounds, you can hear the locusts starting to sing for the summer season now, and it's just going to be a great, great opportunity to get out to a park and relax.
Looks incredible. The new cabins cost about $1 million to build and were paid for by a donation from the Rhonda and Howard Hawks family. Looking for a way to cool down? The Louisville State Recreation Area has a new water feature to keep your eye on. It's a water playground, and it's not just for kids. Adults can enjoy it too. Right now, crews are out still finishing up the new attraction that opens later this summer. You won't want to miss it. Park Superintendent Matt Sutton says there's something for everyone to enjoy.
We have climbing walls, slides, multiple different things that you can go out and have fun on.
There are rules. Everyone who uses the water playground has to wear a life jacket. 110 to 130 people will be let on at a time for about 90 minutes. Before another front arrives later today, temperatures will top out in the upper 80s. Late in the day, showers and storms will develop as the front makes its move south. The rest of the week, we catch a break from the intense summer heat. It'll be more comfortable with highs in the low to mid 80s. After today's rain, we dry out for a couple of days, but there are more chances for rain later in the week. Still ahead, there's a new member you can check out at the Henry Doorly Zoo. But first, as we head to break, the 2018 season of Jazz on the Green is off and rolling. We take a look at the sights and sounds of one of Omaha's hottest summer events.
This could be the start of something big. You're like 21 and watching your diet, declining the Charlotte route, accepting a pick. When out of the clear blue sky, it's suddenly gal and guy. This could be the start of something big. There's no controlling the enrolling of your fate, my friend. You see, it's written in that magic book. When a lover you discover at the gate, my friend, divide him in without a second look. You're up in an aeroplane or dining at sardine or lying in Malibu, alone in the sand. You suddenly hear a bell and right away you can't tell. This could be the start of something great. Let's give it to the drummer. There's no controlling the enrolling of your fate, my friend. You see, it's written in that magic book.
The newest resident of the Henry Doorly Zoo is saying hello to crowds this weekend. Meet Silas. He is a pygmy hippopotamus. He was born on April 30th and made his debut on Friday. When Silas was born, he weighed about 16 pounds, but now he's up to 80. Big guy. Silas and his mother can be seen daily in the lead jungle with the other pygmy hippos. It was a one-day promotion meant to bring kids into a popular teddy bear store to build a new bear, but stores across the nation quickly became too stuffed. Here in Omaha, lines snaked through Oakview Mall as families waited for hours to take advantage of a special that let them buy a stuffed bear for the price of their child's age. 3 News Now reporter Andrea Braswell was there as people patiently waited for a teddy bear.
A day set aside for children quickly turned into mayhem.
How was the wait?
For staff at the Build-A-Bear at Oakview Mall.
We had a line out the door and it just started to grow from there.
Lines wrapped around the mall before the doors even opened.
We got an hour early. The store opened at 9 and we were probably number 25 in line and it took 2 hours.
All to take part in the Pay Your Age Day at Build-A-Bear.
It was a great deal. You can't beat it. You get a $28 bear for $4. That's a heck of a steal.
Michaela Case brought her 4- and 5-year-olds. They made it through the line and were out by 10:30. But others say it was not worth the wait.
The whole mall. So it all goes in every direction. So I don't even know how they're going to even be able to service anybody.
Giving up their entire day for this.
There's no way that everybody's going to get through the line today. It takes, 3-4 minutes a bear. There's no way. There's thousands of people in here.
But manager Chrisanne Kowski says she was focused on the smiles.
It is super amazing to see everybody come in the door, all the happy faces. I love it. Kids are high-fiving and giving hugs. I'm energized on the kids right now.
Still, no one expected this large turnout.
I just saw it on Facebook and that's probably why it got so crazy.
So crazy, customers were eventually turned away and given $15 off vouchers.
We want to make everyone's experience the best and hopefully they come back another day.
I mean, the lines were absolutely insane, but a lot of people still got those teddy bears. Impressive event. A special event in Omaha is hoping to teach you about a different culture, where and when you can sample the food and catch all the fun when Omaha Sunday Morning continues. This morning, we're getting a preview of what we'll see coming up on CBS Sunday Morning. I'm joined now by Steve Hartman. And Steve, this week we're hearing from Jennifer Garner, often seen as that girl next door actress, but someone who's also been on a lot of tabloid covers. And she talks about what that feels like.
Yeah, this is a big interview for us and a very revealing interview. We talked to her about her life on screen and her life off screen and the role these paparazzi, these tabloids play in her life. It can be pretty overwhelming. Here's a little bit of the interview.
What I think that I've learned is that scrutiny in your private life puts a pressure to make something happen. You feel a pressure to hurry up and get married because you think that'll end the are they engaged, are they not? And that's true in the reverse as well. If you are, if there is any inkling of trouble, or if the tabloids decide there's trouble, it can create trouble.
Our contributor Connor Knighton did the interview, and what makes that interesting is that he and Jennifer are from the same town in West Virginia. They went to the same church, they attended the same high school, so him doing the interview it makes it really interesting because he knows her better than probably anybody else that we could have had do the interview, so I'm looking especially forward to that.
Definitely. Sounds like it'll be an interesting perspective there. And Steve, you have a piece about a retired music teacher who recently was surprised with a very special concert, I'm told.
This was a remarkable choral instructor. He had a choir in this little town in Ponca City, Oklahoma. And he taught that class for 30 years and always dreamed of getting his former students back together again for one last concert. And as you can see, they did. Unbeknownst to him, they planned this reunion, went up on stage, the voices as beautiful as ever, and that man, who was kind of known at the time as kind of a tough teacher, but obviously had a great heart deep down, was blown away and in tears, and I was in tears by the end of it. It's a pretty touching story, and we'll have that later on Sunday morning.
And I'm sure told by you, we will all be in tears. Just that snippet of video right there, it's incredibly powerful. Steve, thank you so much. CBS Sunday Morning starts right here at 8 o'clock. This next story will take you to another place without leaving the city. Today, a first ever cultural festival celebrating diversity kicks off in Exarban. 3 News Now reporter Shante Passmore has a preview of what you can expect.
Sounds of Africa explode from this Omaha home.
African culture is very colorful. We are a vibrant people.
Everything is woke in your face.
And frankly, pretty spirited.
Yeah, let's just put it that way. That's how we are.
This vibe, with its bold outlook, is woven into the fabric of history, portrayed in art, music, food, and passed down through generations, and now found right here.
As you said, there's lots of Africans.
What you see here is just a taste of what to expect at the first ever African Cultural Festival at Stinson Park. The smells lure you in with ingredients sometimes familiar to the eye, but when mixed differently, taste foreign to the palate.
That is a tilapia fish. And I'm sauteing some tomato, onion, bell pepper to go over the garnishment. And we're gonna serve that with some plantains and cassava couscous.
The hope is the food and music will create space at the table for all cultures.
How do you learn the people? You talk with them, you engage with them.
Because when you get closer to people from different countries, you get to know the culture, and that creates that bond instantly as a human being.
3 News Now is a proud media sponsor of the African Cultural Festival Omaha. It's today at Stinson Park from noon until 8 p.m. The Douglas County Fair is in full swing this weekend, and with the location change to Village Point Shopping Center, organizers believe 2018 may be the year the county fair picks up. The fair has struggled with attendance and location changes in the past and lost funding from property tax money about a decade ago. So the fair this year is getting by with no staffing, no office, and little support. However, the Douglas County Extension Foundation did take over the fair this year, giving it a fresh look.
From a political end, it's surviving with no property tax dollars, and that's important. But that takes a real dedicated group of volunteers, and we've got it with Extension.
The fair actually has 2 locations this year, with some exhibits taking place at Chance Ridge Event Center in Elkhorn. The Fred and Pamela Buffett Cancer Center is seen as a state-of-the-art facility. In January, the FDA approved a drug to treat certain types of tumors. It's not even manufactured in the U.S. yet, but patients are receiving it here in Omaha. We introduce you to the Cancer Center's first recipient of this new treatment.
We visit with actress Jennifer Garner, sample saucy dumplings from Shanghai, and catch World Cup fever. This Sunday morning, listen for the trumpet.
For most newly engaged or married couples, there's a story behind their rings, how they picked them out, or who surprised whom. But for one Omaha couple, his ring carries meaning that goes beyond just their marriage. It helps honor a brotherhood. The one-of-a-kind piece is a powerful reminder of those who have given their lives for our country. Omaha World-Herald visual journalist Megan McGill has his powerful story.
Behind every ring is a story, and no one understands that better than the hands of those who create them. Bill Bear has had his hands in hundreds of them.
I rebuilt a ring that was ran over by a car, brought it back. I've made $1 million rings.
However, Bear was recently tasked with telling his most challenging story ever, but perhaps his most important.
I've been in business for almost 40 years and never had to do anything like this.
The ring he is referring to is this one. It may look like your everyday wedding band, but it's not even close.
It is a one-of-a-kind piece, and it can never be duplicated.
The ring tells the story of these two, Anthony and Allison Noyes.
Yeah, I went to Borsheim's to go pick out a ring. I had one that I ended up liking and ordering, but it was on the drive home that I remembered I kind of had 2 pieces of shrapnel from my incident.
Shrapnel are the tiny metal pieces that you see embedded in the ring. The fragments came from his deployment in Iraq back in 2006. Anthony's Humvee was hit by a roadside bomb, totaling the vehicle. No one was killed in the blast that time.
I've had buddies that did not make it back, made the ultimate sacrifice, and this ring is kind of a constant reminder of that.
To honor his brothers, Anthony chose to incorporate some pieces from the bomb into his wedding band.
My wife, she's always embraced my military service, actually championed it, so I mean it kind of felt fitting to take something from a part of my life that was so intense to make it part of my life that one of the happiest moments of my life.
It just makes me happy knowing that he has this amazing wedding ring to symbolize how his military career and where he's been, and I think it's just really nice for him to have something as special as that.
It's a constant reminder that it'll always be with me, but now I have something tangible to touch.
Back at the shop, Bear is on to his next project. But like Anthony, he too will never forget that ring. Because in life, there's some stories that just stick with you.
Emotionally, this one here was the coolest I've ever done.
What a special tribute. Bear says the shrapnel was tough to work with, partly because of the jagged shape. He spent about 10 hours crafting that ring. Doctors call it the future of cancer treatment, being able to pinpoint the cells and target them directly, which also minimizes side effects. The Fred and Pamela Buffett Cancer Center is now using a new treatment for certain types of cancer. It's not even made in the U.S. yet. Today we show you how it works.
Yeah. So how did your treatment go? Was it okay?
Wonderful.
Yeah?
Even in a doctor's office, talking about her stage 4 cancer.
I like being a guinea pig.
74-year-old Marilyn Cody wears a smile. She seems to speak with a giggle.
Mostly they just said that it was a slow-growing one, and they didn't give me any time or anything. So I just kept living it.
She has a form of gastroenteropancreatic neuroendocrine tumors, or GEP-NETs. She had chemo, which made her sick, then recently a new treatment. Cody is the first at the Fred and Pamela Buffett Cancer Center to receive a radioactive drug called Lutathera.
So it goes around in the body, goes to the area where the tumor is, and it releases its radioactivity and just causes tissue damage within that 2-millimeter area. So it's a pretty precise treatment.
The FDA just approved this medication for use in the U.S. this year. It's not manufactured here yet, and it doesn't last very long. So anytime the Buffett Cancer Center needs it, at this time they have to get it from Italy.
Cody will receive the treatment 4 times every 2 months. It takes about 6 hours.
This medication can cause problems with the kidneys, so actually we give a protective a solution while we're giving the medication, and that actually is what causes a lot of the nausea.
Chemo was hard, really hard, but this was a lot better.
Cody gardens whenever she can, even gets out on the mower on her farm near Griswold, Iowa. That positive glow, she says it comes from God and family.
Proud for every year I have.
She hopes this new medicine gives her and others facing the same diagnosis more years to spend smiling with those they love.
I would tell them, go for it. Go for it. It can't do any worse than what's going to happen, so why not?
It's too early to say if the treatment has been effective. At this point, it's only used on certain neuroendocrine tumors. Doctors say because it's radioactive, they tell patients to act like they have the flu for a couple days and avoid direct contact with others. Some college students have an ambitious goal for their summer. They're running more than 4,000 miles across the U.S., raising money to fight cancer. This week, they toured the Buffett Cancer Center and visited with patients. The group of 21 runners is part of a program supporting young adults and their families who are affected by cancer. Special guest Pamela Buffett, the lead donor of the Cancer Center, joined them to hand out care packages to patients.
When I see that they're providing programs for marathon runners in a hospital, how fabulous is that? And again, the inspiration for these young people.
And sometimes we think we're the ones inspiring, but honestly, I think the people we meet along the way and the people that donate are more inspiring than we are ourselves.
Those kits contain blankets, lotion, stress balls, and books. 2 months ago, a pickup truck smashed into the back of a car near 172nd and Q, leaving a young girl in a medically induced coma. But now she's taking major steps on her road to recovery. McKinley Blue is out of the hospital and out of an area rehab facility. Just weeks after hitting social media asking for prayers, her family says that support is paying off. 3 News Now reporter Jake Kowski has more on the 4-year-old's amazing recovery.
It's really amazing to see how much she has improved through this whole experience. It's been amazing.
2 sisters about 6 years apart in age with an inseparable connection. McKinley and Miley Blue playing like they did before May 11th. That day, McKinley was critically injured in a crash at 172nd and Q Streets. The 4-year-old was put in a medically induced coma because of a traumatic brain injury.
I was super scared when I got there. It was just something that I just went blank.
Once she was stabilized, she was moved to Madonna Rehabilitation Hospitals, still in a wheelchair and struggling to speak. Through many hours of rehab with staff and her family, McKinley is dancing, singing, and talking.
It's just incredible, and I just love how much she recovered because I know I'm going to have my little sister back. She loves me just so much, and I love her just so much.
McKinley's going home for the first time. Miley wearing a matching helmet.
I felt like it was going to support her, and I wanted her to feel like she was beautiful.
The Madonna staff presenting her with the Spirit Award for going above and beyond in her recovery.
We just think you're such a sweet little girl who has made so much progress. It actually means a lot to me because I have a 4-year-old at home, so it touches my heart very much so. This is the most rewarding job.
They also celebrate her 5th birthday, which is on July 12th.
Happy birthday to you.
Flexing her muscles, McKinley strong.
I think that watching this whole progress from the time that we were at Children's Hospital with a bunch of unknowns to when we're here, it's pretty life-changing. It's changed my direction of thinking, it's changed my direction of believing, it's changed my direction of what I want to do.
What a sweetheart, wishing her the very, very best. McKinley does have more therapy to do and will have to have surgery to repair her skull, but she's going to head to kindergarten soon. Her mom wanted to thank all the emergency responders, doctors, staff at Madonna, family and friends for all their support. An MMA fighter is hoping to make it big. The Omaha man has been campaigning on social media and recently scored a fight. Where it is and who he's up against, coming up. You probably know of Terrence Crawford, the Omaha native who is a boxing world champion. But another Omahan is making his name in the fighting world. Ultimate Fighter Anthony Smith wanted to be able to battle in front of his home state fans, but instead he's headed for Europe and quite a challenge against a big name. 3 News Now reporter Jacob Kowski has the details.
29-year-old Anthony Smith has represented Nebraska professionally in MMA for the last 10 years. He's won his last 4 of 5 fights, with his most recent a knockout win over former champion Rashad Evans in June.
Anthony Lionheart Smith!
Since then, he's been all over social media and interviews asking UFC for a match in his home state at Lincoln's UFC Fight Night event on August 25th.
It would be a dream come true. You know, it's something that I'll cherish for the rest of my life if we can get it to work.
But getting a fight in Lincoln in 2 months for Anthony hasn't been as quick as taking out Rashad Evans.
There it is. That's it.
Fast forward a week, and everything has changed.
It's bittersweet to not be able to fight in Lincoln. I really wanted to fight in Lincoln in the UFC. But, you know, as they say, when one door closes, another one opens.
Smith is now in the main event of Fight Night in Germany on July 22nd. He'll face Mauricio Shogun Hua, a bona fide star in the sport.
An opportunity of a lifetime is opened up. So, you know, I can go take out the number 8 guy in the world, former world champion, and put myself right there in the mix for a title shot.
Anthony's boxing coach and strength and conditioning coach know he'll be ready for the biggest opportunity of his career, even on short notice.
There's times where we've driven, 14, 15 hours through snowstorms to make, a few $100s here and there, and now we're headlining a UFC event. So this is incredible.
I think it's pretty awesome, and like I said, I know he's going to be ready to go. He's been very determined. I know he really wanted to get on that card in Lincoln, but I think this is a great opportunity for him to continue his pursuit to the top.
Creating his own opportunities inside and outside the octagon.
So to be able to get a win over someone like Shogun is going to mean a lot to me personally, but also it's going to mean a lot for my career. It's going to springboard me to that next tier of guys.
Again, Smith's big fight is coming up in just a week. It's next Sunday in Germany. Police and families joined forces to have a good time while beating the heat. It was all part of the Omaha Police Department's Fun in the Park event at Miller Park. People enjoyed free food, swimming, and bike helmet giveaways. Organizers say the goal is to give kids a chance to hang out with and get to know officers.
It's very important for community engagement to start young with our kids so that they know not to be afraid of the uniform with the police department, but if they are ever in any situations of danger, they know to talk to a police officer.
Omaha's Mounted Patrol and the department's helicopter Able 1 were out at the park. The Omaha Fire Department was also on hand. Graffiti often gets a bad rap, but local artists are hoping to change that. When Omaha Sunday Morning continues, we show you why they're ditching the brush for the spray can. And on this Sunday, a look at what's happening this week in Omaha. Monday, the Omaha Police Department and PACE are teaming up for a week-long summer camp for 50 kids. Each day includes a crime prevention lesson, plus some fun visits from OPD canines and the OPD Mounted Patrol. On Thursday, the Papillion La Vista Community Theater presents Hairspray. You can catch it at the Sumter Amphitheater starting at 8 p.m. And on Saturday, Reg Bry kicks off in Ottawa, Iowa. The Cross Iowa Bike Ride will see thousands of riders making the trip in 1 week. For more information on these events and many more this week, take a look at the community calendar on omaha.com. It's the type of crime that makes you shake your head. A couple teens apparently robbed a 12-year-old boy selling lemonade near 148th and L. But then something great happened. This time, when he set up his stand, the community stepped up in a big way. 3 News Now reporter John Kipper met the budding businessman and tells us the surprising amount of money he raked in.
Tuesday afternoon, Henry Riley was doing what many 12-year-old boys do on a scorching summer day, selling lemonade on his neighborhood street corner.
And then he ran into some bad luck.
Teenagers came up to the stand, got some lemonade, and paid with a phony $100 bill. When Henry said the cash was fake, they took his hard-earned money and ran. When his mom Jamie heard the news, she was furious.
He's out here trying to work, and maybe if more teenagers were out working for themselves, they wouldn't have to rob lemonade stands.
But she did put her anger to use, posting on the Nextdoor app about how her son was robbed right on his neighborhood sidewalk. And after posting on Nextdoor, the response she got was incredible, with community members saying that they would come here today and buy some lemonade. And well, plenty of them did come.
I just kind of figured that not to let them like really bother me that much and just do it again.
Hundreds of people came by throughout the day to buy a cup.
It makes me feel happy that people actually care.
Even the Omaha police assisted by stopping drivers and giving them the full sales pitch for Henry.
This takes it down to the kids level so that they are personally positively affected by the police and realize that that they are here to help you in all situations, even if it's just a lemonade stand.
And the near 100-degree temperatures couldn't bring anybody's spirits down either. In fact, Henry thinks the sun helped him out.
Well, I've had a lot of customers throughout the day because it's been really hot.
At day's end, Henry had raised over $700 that he plans to use for a family vacation.
Proves that there aren't just bad people in our community, and there's more good people than there is bad people, even though sometimes it doesn't seem like it.
I think Henry's faith and mine have been restored in this area and all of humanity.
Awesome to see police and the community step up for him. Big or small, simple or complex, local artists are embracing a new way to create masterpieces by picking up a spray can. Recently, an event hosted by Midtown Art gave spray paint artists a chance to show off their talents. Omaha World-Herald visual journalist Julia Nagy shows us what's drawing artists to this young medium.
I really like it initially just because it's kind of the baby of the art world, you know. I mean, it really didn't start until the 60s, late 60s, early 70s, you know, is when it very first took off. I mean, that was when a spray paint can was very first introduced, you know, where some other art forms like sculpture, painting, drawing, I mean, they've been around for centuries. So that really first initially drew it to me, how unexplored it really is. And also the vigilante aspect, you know, and the you know, the rebellious art form and how it really is quite expressive, you know, with what you can do with the can.
I think it's nice to see something different outside of gray and beige around the city. With graffiti and public art, it's there for visual enjoyment and then maybe to spread a message. And at the end of the day, just the message is, I'm here, this is what I can do, look, this is my name, hi.
You put a piece up where, you know, 50,000 cars drive by every day. I mean, that's a lot of people seeing your name, you know, or seeing your mural. And I also like it just because the Zen-like aspect of it. I mean, you know, you paint a freight and you let it roll away and you might never see it again. You know, I mean, you create and just kind of let it go at the same time. And you might spend days planning it and, you know, a day executing it and this and that just to let it go at the end of the day, which I love about the art.
Midtown Art hosted the event. They provided a blank wall for artists to showcase their work. The saying goes, time is a funny and fickle thing, and this week Omaha editorial cartoonist Jeff Katurba seems to agree. His cartoon coming up next. We often complain that time is going too fast or the work week is taking too long, but is time out to get us, or can we just not make up our mind? Omaha World-Herald editorial cartoonist Jeff Katurba tackles the topic.
I'm Jeff Katurba. I am the editorial cartoonist for the Omaha World-Herald. A couple of weeks ago, I was in a car accident, hit by a drunk driver. People don't drink and drive. Esteemed World-Herald columnist Mike Kelly even wrote about it. This isn't so much about my accident as it is my age. You see, when I read Mike's column, I found an error, which was unlike Mike. I mean, he's one of the most solid journalists this city has ever had. He wrote that my age is 57. But then I reminded myself that he was correct. Where, oh where does the time go? George Clooney was also recently in an accident. He was thrown from a scooter while driving around Italy. I bring up George because we share a birthday. Same date, same year. We're both 57. Coincidence? How, George? How are we both 57? Which brings us to these fellows at your local diner. And no, that's not George and me. The one guy is saying that the older he gets, the more he wishes time could slow down. On the other hand, he's also wishing he could speed things up. In case you hadn't heard, there's a Supreme Court confirmation fight brewing, and then we'll have the midterm elections. Ugh, it's gonna be ugly. So yeah, like our friend with the coffee, even for those of us who wish time could slow down, wouldn't it be great if we could fast forward past all the awful political arguing, but then considering the current climate, we'd always be speeding up, speeding up, speeding up.
I would have guessed younger. So glad he's okay. That's all for this week. Thanks for watching Omaha Sunday Morning. We'll see you back here next week.